The bell tolled in St. Peter's Square this morning, marking the death of Pope Francis. The leader of the Catholic Church has died at the age of 88 after suffering a stroke. Good evening. Francis was the first pope from Latin America and was known to many as the People's Pope for his compassion for the poor and marginalized.
His non-traditional papacy ruffled some feathers as he worked to build a more inclusive church. This is a live look from St. Peter's Square, where people continue to gather to pay their respects. It's just after midnight in Vatican City. CTV's Heather Butts has more on the pontiff's life and legacy.
The solemn toll of bells echoed through St. Peter's Square Monday morning, marking the death of Pope Francis, the end of a monumental era for the Catholic Church, a world now grieving a loss as people showed their profound respect and deep admiration for a pontiff who charmed the world with his humble style and devotion to the less fortunate.
He was an example of loving everyone, no matter who you were.
The announcement from Vatican officials.
Il Vescovo di Roma Francesco è tornato alla casa del Padre.
The Bishop of Rome, Francis, returned to the house of the Father. The statement just hours after the head of the Catholic Church surprised thousands with an Easter blessing circling the square in his open-topped Pope-mobile. This after 38 days in hospital with bilateral pneumonia.
Impressive that he made it to Easter. I think that's almost like a miracle for Italy, but it's sad.
From the moment he stepped forward as Pope, Francis made it known his would be a different papacy.
Buonasera.
A simple good evening in casual Italian signaled change. A pope of firsts. The first Jesuit from Argentina, the first from the Americas. Born Jorge Mario Bergoglio, the son of Italian immigrants. He modeled a life of simplicity. He refused to live in the grand papal apartment and wore silver, not gold. Elected at the age of 76, still he didn't cling to the old ways. The pontiff allowed divorced Catholics to take part in the communion service. Francis insisted everyone deserved respect and love, allowing Catholic priests to bless same-sex couples, but keeping it distinct from the sacrament of marriage.
Ma chi sono io per giudicarla?
Contraception, he maintained, shouldn't be used to prevent pregnancy, but was acceptable to prevent disease. In other areas, he was unmoved. While he praised women and promoted a record number to leadership positions, he stopped short of allowing them to be priests. On abortion, he compared it to hiring a hitman.
Per risolvere un problema.
The leader of more than 1 billion Catholics improved relations with Jews, Muslims, and Orthodox leaders. He brokered talks between Cuba and the United States. He was in part defined by his humility, urging a more compassionate church. Francis comforted the disabled and championed the plight of the poor. He condemned world conflicts, urging peace in Ukraine. Denouncing President Trump's deportation policies, he pushed for better treatment of refugees and warned of suffering because of climate change. Under his watch, the church handled clergy sex abuse scandals. Decades of cover-ups and systemic failures came to light during his papacy. In a letter to all Catholics, he wrote, "We showed no care for the little ones. We abandoned them." Ordering a first-ever Roman Catholic summit on pedophilia and introducing new reforms. To generations of Indigenous Canadians, he apologized.
Nel chiedervi scusa.
For the abuses they suffered in Canada's Catholic-run residential schools. Repeating it again during an historic week-long visit to Canada.
Pido perdón.
He maintained a tireless schedule even as his health started to drastically decline a couple years ago, battling influenza, falls, knee pain, and most recently, double pneumonia. Even at the end of his life, Pope Francis sent a lasting reminder to, quote, revive our trust in others, including those who are different than ourselves. Pope Francis was 88. Heather Butts, CTV News.
The flag was lowered outside St. Michael's Cathedral in the city today in honor of Pope Francis.
A special mass was held to allow the faithful to pray for the late pontiff and reflect on his legacy. CTV's Scott Lightfoot's been speaking with parishioners and joins us live now with more. Scott.
Well, Nathan, a real mix of sadness and celebration here among parishioners. Of course, it was not a surprise that the Pope's health was failing and that this day would come. Today, there was a sense of celebration, people believing his was a life of service and a life well lived. For those who had not heard the news,
oh my God, he died? Oh my God, I'm so sorry about him.
it was a somber start to Easter Monday.
He was a good pope. Yeah, I think he made a lot of good changes, actually. He looked like he was a man of the people.
I like the fact that he addressed the Indigenous peoples of Canada and that he was a little more open than previous popes were to gay marriage and to women assuming some roles of responsibility in the church.
The death of Pope Francis, marked by parishioners entering morning mass at St. Michael's.
It was good of him that he came out and blessed everybody on Easter Sunday. That was wonderful to see.
The passing of the Holy Father coming at the end of the holiest time in the Catholic calendar, the celebration of Easter and the belief that Christ conquered death.
When the Pope dies, it's kind of like all of us Catholics, our father dying or our grandfather dying, depending on how old you are. So it's sad, but in faith we know that for all of us who are faithful to the Lord, are faithful in our faith, then we know that he's gone to be with God.
As sad as we are, we're very confident that, Pope Francis is likely right in heaven already, and he can probably do, much better in heaven than on earth.
It's a very sad day for the Catholics, but it's a nice day for him. He gets to go straight up to heaven and bypass all this nonsense that's been going on.
Inside this morning's service, prayers for the late pontiff and a call to carry on.
And even though we now have to mourn, if you will, the passing of the Holy Father, at the same time I can't help but imagine them also telling us, do not lose hope.
Many now mourning a man who led them in faith for years.
Well, I understand that he was very sick, very ill for a long time, and now, well, it's time to say goodbye to our Pope.
The Archbishop of Toronto will preside over a mass for Pope Francis here at St. Michael's tomorrow, just after noon. There will also be evening prayers here at the cathedral. The Archbishop of Toronto and actually the Archbishop Emeritus of Toronto, both cardinals, both under the age of 80, which means they will both be heading to the conclave and will be part of the process to help choose the next pope. Reporting live outside of St. Michael's, I'm Scott Lightfoot. Michelle and Nathan, back to you.
Thank you, Scott. Leaders from around the world have been offering tributes to Pope Francis.
U.S. President Donald Trump says he will attend the pontiff's funeral in Rome and offer brief remarks during an Easter celebration at the White House this morning.
I just signed an executive order putting the flags of our country, all of them, all federal flags and state flags, at half-mast in honor of Pope Francis. So he was a good man, worked hard. He loved the world, and it's an honor to do that.
Meanwhile, U.S. President J.D. Vance is also offering his thoughts on the Pope's passing. Vance, who converted to Catholicism, met with the pontiff yesterday in one of his last meetings with a public leader. Vance wrote on social media, "My heart goes out to the millions of Christians all over the world who loved him. I was happy to see him yesterday, though he was obviously very ill. May God rest his soul."
Meanwhile, King Charles III released a statement which reads in part, "My wife and I were most deeply saddened to learn of the death of Pope Francis. Our heavy hearts have been somewhat eased. However, to know that His Holiness was able to share an Easter greeting with the Church and the world he served, with such devotion throughout his life and ministry. The Queen and I remember with particular affection our meetings with His Holiness over the years, and we were greatly moved to have been able to visit him earlier in the month." Closer to home, all of the major party leaders have commented on the Pope's death from the campaign trail.
Liberal leader Mark Carney, who is a practicing Catholic, spoke about the pontiff's legacy.
During his papal visit to Canada in 2022, his apology on residential schools was a crucial step in moving the Church forward in its journey towards meaningful reconciliation. And one parable he shared about a decade ago has consistently guided my thinking. He compared humanity to wine, rich, diverse, full of spirit, and the market to grappa, distilled, intense, and at times disconnected. And he called on us to reintegrate human values into our economic lives.
There have been countless millions of Catholics and non-Catholics that have been inspired by his leadership in faith and other domains, and our prayers are with all Catholics as they lay to rest the head of the Catholic Church, and we are in solidarity in remembering him and honoring his contributions.
I was at the apology that the Pope did in Alberta to the Indigenous communities. I want to acknowledge the Indigenous communities and their long advocacy to get that apology. And it was a very powerful moment for many of the leaders that I met, many of the community members who talked about how hearing that apology from the Pope made them feel like they were taking a step forward on their healing journey. Just being acknowledged in that way, recognizing that a harm had happened and that harm was being acknowledged really was powerful. And I think only someone like Pope Francis was able and capable of making that commitment and fulfilling that apology. So I want to acknowledge that.
Meanwhile, the AFN National Chief is remembering that apology to Indigenous peoples here in Canada. In a Facebook post, Chief Cindy Woodhouse-Nepinak wrote, "Pope Francis, he apologized to our people. There was strong resistance to an apology, but he did it anyways. I thank him for that and for his life's work here on earth." And the Pontiff's apology to Indigenous communities was certainly a landmark moment in the history of residential schools.
As CTV's Allison Hurst reports, leaders from Indigenous communities across the country are outlining what the move meant for reconciliation in Canada.
The Pope's 2022 visit to Canada had an historic step toward reconciliation.
In confronting the scandal of evil,
despite pushback, Pope Francis apologized to Indigenous peoples for the role the Catholic Church played in running residential schools and the devastating abuse children experienced.
I remember how eloquently and genuinely and softly he spoke to us as Aboriginal people. And he was committed to coming to various parts of Canada to help all of us heal and to bring us all back together as one.
Roughly 150,000 Indigenous children were forced to attend residential schools over a century, and the Catholic Church ran about 60% of the institutions.
I remember his commitment, his dedication to reconciling the divide and the differences between the Aboriginal people of Canada and the Church.
Some survivors have called the apology an important part of their healing journey, but others expressed the words were not enough without action.
It's a complicated issue for Indigenous peoples. There's no one way of looking at it. And of course, not all Indigenous peoples are part of the Catholic Church, so don't really have any opinion on it one way or another.
A statement from Governor General Mary Simon says in part, Pope Francis's apology was a testament to his commitment to respect, dialogue, and collaboration across cultures and faiths, values he held dear throughout his papacy.
While the apology was good for many of the survivors who really needed it and wanted it, and it was a recommendation of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, there's a lot of other things, like releasing the rest of the documents so that we can locate some of these missing children, unmarked graves, and all of that kind of unfinished business.
It's that unfinished business many hope the next Pope and Church as a whole will push forward.
I do sincerely hope that as they move into this process of selecting the next Pope, that they keep in mind the voices of Indigenous peoples all around the world.
As they continue to work toward reconciliation. Allison Hurst, CTV News.
Turning to crime news, the SIU is investigating a police-involved shooting that left one person with critical injuries late last night.
Security video shows officers opening fire on a vehicle following an incident during a traffic stop. CTV's John Musselman's been following the investigation and joins us live with more. John.
Well, Nathan, they pulled the car over on the road behind me, Shepherd Avenue West, and it was just minutes later, as you'll see in this video, when the bullets started flying.
In this security video obtained by CTV News, you can see the car in the middle of the frame. An officer can be seen talking with the driver who's behind the wheel. There's a second officer on the other side of the car standing beside two people. Watch closely as the officer on the driver's side suddenly backs away and begins firing his weapon towards the front windshield of the car. The second officer begins firing from the rear. The two people who were standing beside the car scramble to get out of the way. This video from a first-floor apartment unit on the south side of the street picks up the aftermath. It shows emergency responders performing CPR on the man who was shot. He was rushed to hospital in critical condition. This all happened just before 11 o'clock last night on Shepherd Avenue West near Bathurst. The province's Special Investigations Unit has now taken over the case.
Early information indicates that there was an exchange of gunfire. That's what Toronto Police have told us. However, I'm unable to confirm that at this time, simply because it's just too early. We are in the process of accessing some body-worn camera footage, some in-car camera footage from the police vehicle, so it's just simply too early.
I can't get into the actual details of the incident, but I can tell you that our members are out here every day keeping this city safe, and the last thing they ever want to do is use force or use their firearm.
Viewer video shows at least two people taken into custody at the scene. Investigators say there were 6 people in the vehicle. The SIU says the car, either a red Infiniti or Lexus, was pulled over in relation to a Highway Traffic Act infraction. It was missing a front license plate. The provincial agency has not released the name or age of the man who was shot. We also don't know if he was the driver or one of the passengers inside the vehicle. He remains in life-threatening condition. The SIU is an independent government agency that investigates the conduct of officers that may have resulted in the death or serious injury of a person. And the SIU says it needs to review the body camera video from the police officers, also the cameras in the cars, as they try to piece together how this all started. Reporting live, I'm John Musselman. Send it back to you.
Thank you, John. Hamilton police are continuing to search for suspects wanted in connection with the shooting that killed an international student who they say was an innocent bystander. There is a growing memorial at the scene on Upper James Street, where police say 21-year-old Hamsarat Randawa was killed by a stray bullet while waiting for a bus. Investigators say the shooting happened last Thursday evening when a passenger in a black Mercedes SUV fired shots at a white sedan. Dozens of community members attended a vigil Sunday for the student from India who attended Mohawk College. CTV News spoke with one man who attended the vigil and also witnessed the shooting.
I heard the gunshots. I heard pop, 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 pop. I knew it wasn't fireworks. So I moved away from the windows, and then when I looked out, I seen the girl. And then the police arrived. I don't like it. It's senseless.
Investigators have been reviewing surveillance video from the area, and they're still appealing for anyone with information to come forward.
We're into the final hours of advance voting with Election Day now just 1 week away. Still ahead, what the party leaders are pitching on the last leg of the campaign.
Maple Leafs fans are riding high after last night's dominant win over the Senators.
The team returned to the ice for a practice today before they face off with the Senators again tomorrow. CTV's Sean Lathong has more.
It couldn't have gone much better. Leafs fans get what they want with a decisive 6-2 victory over Ottawa in Game 1 of the Battle of Ontario. But celebrations are over, and the team is back at work, looking to do something they haven't done in decades.
Of note, in this era, the Leafs have not gone up 2-0 in a series. Like, it's never happened. It's usually 1-1.
The players appear calm and confident, with Captain Austin Matthews keeping perspective.
I mean, it's one game, obviously. We're happy with the result, but we know we have to be better. We know they're going to be better tomorrow, and they're going to come out ready to play.
But in Game 1, the Leafs appeared to address every past playoff criticism in one game, with points from their best players, scoring on the power play, scoring from their defense, and strong goaltending, something players can take stock of.
Yeah, I think there's just a little bit of different feel to it. It could be the new coach, could be the new faces in the locker room. It's always going to feel a little bit different, but I think we're ready for the test, and I think we did a good job, but I think it's just one step.
And there's talk of how different this series already feels compared to years past.
You know, the Ottawa Senators are a different type of opponent for the Leafs in this era. They're usually facing an experienced veteran team on the other side. Tampa Bay, Boston, Florida, even Washington in the first year. This time around, they are the more experienced team, and I think it showed in Game 1.
Coach Craig Berube says he expects pushback from Ottawa, and while the task will be difficult, the plan is simple.
We got to play hard between the whistles. We got to keep being physical. We got to make it difficult for them as best we can, and you know, that's got to be our mentality here.
But for a team that wants to find out what they're worth, Game 2 is yet another test, and that test comes tomorrow at 7:30 Scotiabank Arena. Sean Leathong, CTV News.
Hopes are high in Leafs land as we take a live look at the city tonight, where the sunshine has emerged after what's been really a cloudy day. Some parts getting a solid dose of rain as well. Look at the cloud there hanging on above those skyscrapers. Let's bring in Lindsay Morrison, who is back from a sunny escape. Great to see you again.
Well, thank you, Michelle. Great to be back. It was a little warmer where I was last week, but that's okay. We are looking at some seasonal temperatures this week, and it's true. We are enjoying some sun here in the GTA after rounds of rain and, yeah, a few thunderstorms as well. There is still a special weather statement in place for southwestern Ontario because of the strong winds. They are sustained close to 50 kilometers per hour there and gusting closer to 70 kilometers per hour right now. Now, we're starting to tap into a southerly wind here locally in Toronto, and that's going to start to drive up our temperature. Look at that. It is 20 degrees right now in Hamilton, 21 in London. We're not that warm, but we are now in the double digits, 12 degrees at Pearson Airport. And overnight tonight, we could reach about 15 degrees before that temperature starts to tumble. We're going to take you through everything you need to know for the week ahead. Coming up for now, Nathan, I'll send it over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Turning now to the federal election campaign, we are now entering the final sprint.
With exactly 1 week to go, the party leaders fanned out across the country today looking for votes as Canadians get set to have their say. CTV's Colton Prale reports.
Pierre Poilievre enters the final week of the campaign the same way it started, with a focus on housing.
When you add it all up, it gets you 2.3 million homes for Canadians in 5 years.
The Conservative leader unveiled his plan to boost home construction by cutting development charges, selling public land, and incentivizing municipalities, but was questioned on what his promises would cost. His opponents say big cuts are coming, but voters won't have an answer until the Conservatives unveil their platform tomorrow, something every other party has already done.
You should be afraid, and very afraid, because their numbers are always wrong.
Both the Liberals and NDP focused on health care. Mark Carney promising $4 billion towards hospitals, care centers, and long-term care homes. The Liberals plan to cover their spending through $28 billion of undefined savings, something Mark Carney was asked again to explain.
I fully expect that we are going to exceed those cost reductions, but we have a prudent approach to it.
Meanwhile, Jagmeet Singh re-announcing his plans to expand pharmacare.
New Democrats in the first year will fight to expand pharmacare to include essential medications.
With just a week until Election Day, and after millions voted in advance polls, both the NDP and Bloc are hoping this final push can provide a boost the debates didn't seem to. New polling shows small gains for the NDP, while the Bloc stayed steady, as did the race between the frontrunners.
In the last two elections, the last 10 days of the campaign were very good for us.
Despite that confidence, the country is currently shaping up for an election that hasn't been seen in generations. One where 80% of Canadians are voting for one of two parties. Colton Prale, CTV News, Ottawa.
And today is the last day for people to cast their ballots in advanced polls.
The polls will remain open until 9 tonight after they saw a record turnout on Friday. CTV's Beth McDonnell has the details.
Election Day isn't until April 28th, but at the East York Civic Centre polling station, there's a line to vote.
Very busy. The lineup is really long, but moving along, very organized.
Busy. There's lineups that are never ending. The flow's just coming and going.
Advanced polls have been open over the past 4 days, and voters believe there's a reason for the early turnout.
I think the current state of everything going on, especially with our neighbors in the U.S., so I think a lot of people, want to vote because your opinion matters.
Trump and the tariffs and the threats of annexation and so on, I think it's got people pretty riled up about their country.
A lot of people are looking to cast a ballot because they want to see change. They want to see something different that's happened from the past 3 or 4 terms.
Elections Canada says on Friday, on the first day of advance voting, nearly 2 million people across the country cast a ballot. This represents an increase of 36% compared to the first day of advance voting in the 2021 election.
I tried to come here. It was so busy. It was an hour and a half wait, so I thought I'll do it on Monday. I mean, our sovereignty is being threatened, which I don't think has happened since 1867, probably.
I think maybe finally people are beginning to think more about their future, their standing in society. I think the world is changing and very fast.
Several voters highlighted the holiday weekend made it convenient to vote early.
This is close to home, and I always vote. I think you're not allowed to complain if you don't come out and vote. People are maybe concerned about what's going on in the U.S. and perhaps maybe want to make their voices heard a little bit more than usual, because the last couple of elections, I think there's a bit of apathy in the general public.
Others are simply eager to get their vote locked in.
Because we're in peril and somebody's trying to take over our country, so we can't allow that to happen.
Elections Canada expects to report more advance voting numbers on Tuesday. Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
And be sure to stay with CTV News next Monday night for results, analysis, and perspective from all across the country. Our election night coverage gets underway at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, led by Omar Sachedina and Vashi Capellos.
Canadian security officials say a federal election candidate from Toronto is the subject of a foreign repression campaign online. Joe Tay is running for the Conservatives in Don Valley North. He's an opponent of Chinese government policies in Hong Kong. Today, a Canadian election interference task force said foreign interference is taking place on social media platforms such as Facebook, WeChat, and TikTok. The campaign includes disparaging headlines and comments. There's also been deliberate suppression of search terms, censoring Tay's name in Chinese on certain platforms used by Canadians. In December, Hong Kong police issued a bounty for his arrest, as well as 5 other people. The Canadian task force has concluded the online activity is not affecting the ability to hold a free and fair vote in Don Valley North.
Coming up on CTV News, protecting our pride. The city promises financial support for this year's Pride Festival after a drop in corporate sponsorship. The details just ahead.
And I'm Pat Foran. Coming up on Consumer Alert, many people have tattoos and many people are very happy with them. But if you change your mind, it's possible to have them removed. It can be painful and expensive. We take a look at the process. That story is just ahead.
Well, tomorrow is Earth Day, and it looks as though the weather is going to be quite pleasant for spending some time outside. Maybe a great one to plan a community cleanup or plant a few trees. We do have some wet weather that's going to return as we make our way through the next couple of days. A full look at your forecast is coming up, and stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you right here on CTV.
Well, tattoos, they've been in fashion for many years, and for many people who've had them, and they've been happy with them and the choices that they made.
But there are some who may have tattoo regret, and if you do, it's getting easier to have them removed. Pat Foran joins us now with Consumer Alert. Pat.
Thanks, Nathan and Michelle. Sometimes people want to have a tattoo removed because their life has changed, or they want to put a different tattoo in its place. Removing them can be painful, and it takes multiple sessions before they're gone. Ed Tony Tonez Tattoo Studio in Mississauga. Not only does he create vibrant tattoos for his customers, he also uses lasers to remove them. Tonez says there are many reasons why someone may want to have a tattoo removed.
You're now able to remove a pre-existing or old tattoo that you may either regret, or you may have some life changes or career changes as well.
A laser is used to break up the ink beneath the skin, and the price and amount of time to remove a tattoo will depend on its size, depth, and the colors used.
Feels great. I feel like some of my mistakes are starting to get removed now.
Some of your tattoos are going away.
Yeah, I've been burning them off.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're almost gone.
Is it painful?
It's horrible.
Comedian Pete Davidson used to have over 200 tattoos, but by using laser tattoo removal, he's gotten rid of almost every one.
Are you going to keep any?
Maybe like 2 or 3, but I'm trying to clean slate it.
Removery has 5 tattoo removal locations in the GTA. The company says while about 20% of its customers remove a tattoo so they can get another one, others are looking to make a fresh start.
Often you get a name of an ex and the relationship doesn't work out, something misspelled. You can have a tattoo you got when you're 18 and you're 35 or 40, just no longer resembles who you are.
While the laser can be painful, there are numbing creams that can help. You usually need to wait about 4 to 6 weeks between treatments, so removing a tattoo can take as long as a year, requiring 6 to 12 visits. Most services will give you an idea of how long and how much removing a tattoo will cost.
Vast majority of people, once it's done, completely done, it's a new life, a new beginning. It's a reset. Everyone's very, very happy, by the time it's over.
And since removing a tattoo can cost thousands of dollars, you can pay up front, but some places will let you pay as you go or use monthly payment plans with financing options. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
If you have a consumer story idea, email us at alert@ctv.ca.
Well, not maybe the best start to the week with all the rain, but we're going to, I think, get double digits all week. That's pretty good.
I noticed that, too. Yeah. The fact that this week, I think this is the first so far of the season where we do have double-digit highs straight through the week, even if there is rain sprinkled in there, Lindsay.
I think we'll take it. We're all ready for some warmer weather now, and even though we're just really technically on the warm side of seasonal or close to where we should be this time of year, we will take it. We do have some more active weather in store before the week is finished, but look at this live shot right now. Better late than never. We are enjoying some sun through the now early evening hours. Some got to enjoy late afternoon as well. And it will be a bit of a repeat tomorrow as far as the time of day that the sun is concerned. But it is going to be a drier day, and we're going to warm up a bit earlier in the day tomorrow, too. Here's a look at our weather advisory that remains in place for southwestern Ontario. Gusty winds today. I'm anticipating that advisory is going to slowly come to an end as we make our way through this evening. Just like the showers and the thunderstorms are moving away from us here in the GTA. You can see that clearing. We're not totally in the clear. This is a big low pressure system, and it's been bringing snow to our neighbors in northern Ontario today. But as the low departs, a little bit of wraparound cloud cover will be with us into tomorrow morning. Then we're going to clear for tomorrow late afternoon and early evening. Wednesday's looking like a pretty nice day. Let me show you. There's 8 a.m. tomorrow for the start of your Tuesday. A little more sun, Niagara, and right along that north shore of Lake Erie. For us by the evening hours, though, it's looking quite lovely. Into Wednesday, maybe a little bit of cloud through the overnight hours. Midday, though, wall-to-wall sunshine. And then just a heads up, Thursday, we find ourselves back into a little bit of a pattern with showers in the forecast, not an all-day washout, but the chance of wet weather Thursday, Friday, and into the weekend, too. Let's talk temperatures. As mentioned, many communities warming up at this hour. It is 18 degrees right now in Windsor, but that's cooler than it was earlier in the day. Windsor making it into the mid-20s today. It's 12 degrees in Wyerton as well as here in Toronto. Tonight's low, and technically we're not going to reach our low until early tomorrow morning because we're actually going to see the temperature rise before midnight tonight, maybe to around 15 degrees, so quite mild for the late evening, and then waking up tomorrow morning, temperature around 6-7 degrees. Here's your tomorrow at a glance. Again, some cloud cover to start things off, but clearing happens in the afternoon. And by evening, we are enjoying some pretty nice conditions out there. This is your 7-day forecast. So highs of around 15 degrees for Tuesday, Wednesday, and for Thursday. Friday looks even warmer, daytime high of 17. But as mentioned, a bit more of an unsettled pattern begins as we make our way through the second half of the week and into the weekend. At this point, Saturday looks the most unsettled with cloud cover and about a 70% chance of showers at this point. That's your look at the weather for now. Nathan, I'll send things over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. The city is set to provide continued funding assistance for Pride celebrations. Pride Toronto is expected to be among the organizations which will receive support through the Cultural Festivals Funding Program. Tomorrow, Mayor Olivia Chow will announce the recipients, and Pride Toronto's executive director will be in attendance. The move comes after organizers warned they'd seen a drop in corporate sponsorship linked to concerns about retribution from the U.S. for funding events which promote diversity, equity, and inclusion.
A note to subway riders, there are service changes on a stretch of Line 2 to be aware of this week. Beginning tonight, lasting through Friday, trains will be replaced by shuttle buses between Ossington and Jane stations each night at 11 p.m. The buses will run until the end of service around 2 a.m. The early nightly closures are to accommodate track work in the area. The TTC says staff will be available at all stations to assist customers.
Also tonight, the power of potassium, how upping your intake can influence high blood pressure. What the latest research reveals after the break. High blood pressure affects more than 30% of the adult population worldwide and up to 50% in several countries.
For decades, patients were told to eat less salt. But as our health reporter Pauline Chan tells us, eating more potassium-rich foods may be even more helpful.
Professor Anita Layton has been looking at the role of potassium-rich foods like bananas and broccoli to help regulate high blood pressure.
Potassium is a very complicated electrolyte.
In Canada, about 23% of the population is living with hypertension, with another 20% showing pre-hypertension.
In the Western world, or even modern rest of the world, we eat a lot more sodium than potassium because we eat processed food.
But Layton's research suggests foods that are high in potassium may have an even greater effect on lowering blood pressure than just reducing salt intake.
If you eat more potassium, you allow the kidney to more easily get rid of sodium.
It's like diuretics that patients with high blood pressure are often prescribed. It gets rid of more water, reducing the pressure in the blood vessels.
You don't feel it unless, until something really bad happens. So that's why it is really a silent killer.
As to how much potassium people should be taking in?
It depends on the rest of your body. Do you exercise a lot? Do you have a bum kidney? Do you have kidney disease that you don't know about?
Layton says before menopause, women have a lower risk of developing high blood pressure, but her research shows after menopause, the risk evens out. So her next phase of study will be to look specifically at older women. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Tributes have been pouring in from around the globe following the death of Pope Francis, and that includes from the entertainment world.
CTV's Andrea Case has more on the Catholic Church's relationship with entertainers.
The Pope is dead. The throne is vacant.
Movies have often turned to the Vatican for fictional intrigue and award-winning drama.
This is a conclave, Aldo. It's not a war.
It is a war, and you have to commit to a side.
Most recently, Conclave pulled the curtain back on the process of choosing a pope's successor, while the two popes looked at the relationship between Popes Benedict and Francis.
Popes can't resign. If you do this, you will damage the papacy forever.
I can no longer sit on the chair of St. Peter.
In reality, the 266th Pope did things differently from his predecessors, including meeting with prominent artists and directors in 2023 and comedians in 2024. Pope Francis was often referred to as the People's Pope, a man with a sense of humor.
Whenever you can draw a knowing smile from the lips of even one spectator, you also make God smile.
Last June, in an effort to engage contemporary culture, the pontiff hosted a gathering of over 100 comedians from 15 nations, 11 of which were Americans. A lighthearted moment came at the end as Chris Rock and Jimmy Fallon and others moved in for a final photo. For Whoopi Goldberg, who starred in the films Sister Act 1 and 2, this was her second invitation to the Vatican. During her first trip, she offered Pope Francis a role in the upcoming Sister Act 3. Today, she wrote on social media, "Sail on, Pope Francis, with your love of humanity and laughter." The Pope said smiling made good blood, and if that's the case, there was a lot of good blood that day. Andrea Case, CTV News.
After the break, back on the job, but for how long? Uncertainty looms as Windsor's Stellantis assembly plant reopens after a 2-week shutdown. Updating our top stories, tributes are continuing to pour in for Pope Francis. This is a live look from St. Peter's Square, where people have gathered throughout the day to honor the late pontiff. He died this morning at the age of 88 after suffering a stroke and irreversible heart failure. Francis's papacy was marked by his efforts to build a more inclusive church and his support for the poor and marginalized.
Focus of the SIU investigation is the discharge of the firearms by the Toronto Police, so that really is our focus, and obviously the individual who's in hospital. The focus of the Toronto Police investigation would be any potential charges against the occupants in the vehicle and also the male who was struck.
The SIU is investigating after a police-involved shooting. They sent one person to hospital with life-threatening injuries. It happened late last night. The incident, which was captured by security cameras, happened near Bathurst and Shepherd. Police say shots were fired following a traffic stop, but they've not provided any other details.
Important vote, so I thought we really want to make sure that we do this.
Just a couple of hours left for Canadians to cast their ballots at advanced polls. The polling stations will remain open until 9 p.m. tonight. Early results indicate the potential for a record turnout at the advanced polls. Canadians will have their next chance to cast their ballot on Election Day, which is 1 week from today.
Remember to keep up to date day and night at ctvnewstoronto.ca and by downloading the CTV News app. And if you have a news tip, photos, or video of breaking news, let us know.
North American stock markets took a hit today as U.S. President Donald Trump ramped up his attacks on Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. Trump took to social media this morning to call Powell a major loser and suggested the American economy could slow down unless interest rates are lowered immediately. Trump claimed there is virtually no inflation in the U.S. and that costs for energy are declining. The president and his team are looking at whether they can legally fire the central bank leader before his term expires next year. Powell has stated the president cannot remove him under the law.
After being in effect for more than a month, a number of businesses are feeling the impact of U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs on steel and aluminum. Trump imposed the 25% levies on Canadian steel and aluminum imports March 12th. Pittsburgh-based Alcoa Corporation, which is one of Canada's largest aluminum producers, says it took a $20 million hit from tariffs in the first quarter. The company says that could potentially lead to $90 million in additional costs in the second quarter. Alcoa says it'll be raising its prices to offset some of those costs.
Workers at Stellantis, meantime, are back on the assembly line in Windsor as production resumes for at least 2 weeks. The return to work comes after a 2-week shutdown in response to a 25% U.S. tariff on cars. Unifor Local 444 says Stellantis has not made any decisions about operations at the plant beyond next week. 3,500 workers have been impacted by the shutdown at the Windsor facility.
The Business Report is brought to you by Canadian Western Bank, the bank built for business.
The Blue Jays will be looking to snap a 2-game losing skid when they open a series with the Houston Astros tonight.
And another ball hit to deep left field, and it is gone.
The Jays are coming off an 8-3 loss to the Seattle Mariners yesterday afternoon. The Mariners took 2 of 3 games from the Jays over the weekend. First pitch for tonight's game against the Astros is set for shortly after 8 in Houston.
Just ahead, bunches of balloons popping up in a Toronto neighborhood. We've got the story behind this heartwarming tradition.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
Balloons are turning heads in East York as part of an Easter tradition.
The displays, which popped up during the pandemic, have become a hit and are an opportunity for people to give back to the community. CTV's Jessica Smith has the story.
Oh, eggs! That's more eggs!
Pumping up the fun for a good cause, one balloon display at a time in this East York neighborhood.
When you see the kids coming, the face, the surprise face on the families, everybody, right? It's so worth it.
The balloon displays along Maryland Crescent in the Parkview Hills neighborhood are part of an initiative that began during the pandemic to help lift people's spirits. Each year, the displays have ballooned in size, transforming into an opportunity to also give back to the community.
They're just so impressed with the colors and the size. We've grown over the 6 years we've been doing this, bigger and better every year.
This year we have the Salvation Army, and they dropped the bins this year, and they're going to collect, so that helps us make it so much easier, right?
An Easter weekend tradition, the proceeds for each display comes from neighbors on the street. And the balloon building trio of Angela Gibson, Sarah Albany, and Patty Callahan say the best part is seeing people's reactions.
It's almost like kids on Christmas morning, and adults are in awe and they're smiling. So it's amazing.
And hopefully inspiring the next generation to find fun ways to give back.
We like helping people, and then we like coming to see all the fun balloons and stuff and taking photos with our family.
So far, $250 in monetary donations have been collected and multiple food bins have been filled, and there's still time to see the bunches of bright balloons.
Food or monetary donations can be made until 6 p.m. Monday, April 21st here on Maryland Crescent or anytime at your local Salvation Army. Jessica Smith, CTV News.
All right, hold those balloons tight today with all the wind.
Oh, they were swaying, and then we had that dose of rain. Are we in the clear now, at least for today?
Yeah, I think we're in the clear for this evening. In fact, we've been enjoying some nice late-day sunshine, which we should get again tomorrow, so we can look forward to that. One more look at the satellite and radar shows a lack of thunderstorm activity now around the GTA. Here's how it looks, and we're going to continue to see some clearing as we make our way through the late evening hours with temperatures rising. Tomorrow's forecast daytime high, 15 degrees. Conditions actually look quite pleasant as well for game time, game 2 of the Toronto Maple Leafs playoff series if you're planning to head on out to Maple Leaf Square. 7-day forecast looks like this. Wednesday also quite lovely. Then we get back into a bit of an unsettled pattern beginning Thursday with the chance of showers into the weekend. Michelle and Nathan.
Thanks, Lindsay. That's it for us, but be sure to join Omar Sachedina tonight at 11 for CTV National News, followed by Zariah Allman with our next local newscast at 11:30.
In the meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and the whole team here at CTV News, thanks for watching and have a great night.